Welcome to This is Pembroke, a new interview series where we highlight the voices and experiences within our community. To kick things off and to celebrate Neurodiversity Week, we're speaking with Teddy from Development about his experience with ADHD. Hello, Teddy. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So we've just got a few questions that we'd like to ask you about your experience with ADHD. Can you describe what ADHD is like for you in your everyday life?
I think it affects kind of everything. I mean, the most obvious manifestations are the running gag of what have I forgotten today as I leave the office, or how long will it take me to come back to get something I've left. But it's kind of pervades through everything, where sometimes I can't focus on something to save my life. Even the smallest clock ticking in the background will be a distraction. It's very loud and irritating. Or other times, once I do get focused, I can't get pulled out of that. And 3 or 4 hours will go by and I will realize, I have forgotten. So it can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, no, I imagine it's takes over your whole life. And looking back, when did you first notice behaviours that you now recognise as ADHD?
So it was a funny question, that, because I first got diagnosed in my first year of uni, when I'd actually gone in to speak to the DRC about the Disabled Student Resource Centre about autism, because my little brother is autistic and people kept recognizing similarities between the two of us. So I thought I'd better investigate rather than just kind of ignore it. And during that interview, they said, actually, we think we might put you in for an assessment for ADHD more than autism. And then 6 years later, I finally got the diagnosis.
So it took a long time.
That took a very long time.
Is that due to like NHS?
NHS waiting times. I ended up having to go with a private healthcare provider to do it. And then the pandemic happened. And then they kind of forgot about me. And I got a call whilst at work here where they said, we're just following up about your ADHD assessment. And I had honestly completely forgotten about it, to the point I was like thinking that it was a scam.
Yeah.
And eventually we went through the titration process and I started trying ADHD meds, and it took a while to find the right balance there and get used to how that is different. And the first time I took it, it was actually scary because I always have at least one song in my head, sometimes more, and it was quiet and it was really unsettling.
So, what you said, you sort of always have that music and songs in your head. So how does ADHD influence a typical day for you, if at all?
I have to have the same kinds of routines, or something will go wrong. The problem is that establishing routines and new routines and keeping them up is really difficult when you have ADHD. So if, say, I've forgotten to put something back in the place that it goes, say, my landlord, which Tommy in the kitchen will tell you I'm forgetting at the time. If I put my lanyard somewhere else and forget to put it where it's supposed to go, the next morning I'll use 20 minutes looking for it. I have to go back and double check I've locked doors and got everything I need at least 3 times. It makes leaving the house take a lot more time than it might for other people.
Yeah.
And I think at work, it's, I have to write everything down or I'll forget. Everything has to go in the calendar or it doesn't exist. And it takes a lot of spoons. If everyone has like the same kind of allocation of spoons throughout the day, it takes a lot more spoons to do the same job for me.
Yeah.
And so sometimes by the end of the day, I'm completely out of spoons and I can't do anything else. And I think people don't realize that whilst it looks like I'm, just coasting on the surface, everything is fine. It's taking a lot of effort behind the scenes to get things done on time and to a standard that I would accept.
Yeah, it's a lot of mental energy to walk that. So what are some strategies that you've discovered to help you thrive?
Yeah, as I say, writing everything down, because I will forget, but at least I can look back when it was there. um, putting things into the calendar immediately, realizing that I actually have maybe two time frames that I can do things on, and that's now or never. Because if it's in the future, it feels like it's so far away, the deadline doesn't exist until it's right up to crunch time. So I need to have much shorter deadlines, regular check-ins, and if something can be done immediately or easily, I'll just do it now. Because putting it off means that it will disappear.
Yep.
Um,
Can you think of any big moments in your life that were shaped by having ADHD?
Looking back, I mean, I didn't know at the time, but I think my application to Cambridge as an undergrad was very much shaped by ADHD. As I'm sure lots of people know, the deadline to apply to Oxford and Cambridge is the 15th of October, it's much earlier than other unis. I submitted my application on the 15th of October, having decided I would apply on the 14th of October. But on the flip side of that is that I think often I'm able to do in a much shorter amount of time things that would take people multiple days or weeks, because I was so accustomed to working under pressure that it's almost the only way that I know how to work.
Yeah.
So 9 o'clock at school that day, started working on my application, worked all the way through until 4:30, submitted at 5 o'clock, and then crossed my fingers.
It always out, doesn't it? And in what way has ADHD been a strength or an advantage for you?
ADHD for me has been an advantage in that it means I have lots of different interests. I like to learn about everything and anything. I will go down endless rabbit holes, which sometimes can be a bad thing, but more often than not, I think it leads me to to think outside of the box, to find ways of linking things together that perhaps other people might have missed. It means that I'm always investigative, and it means that sometimes when I really do need to focus, I can hyper-focus on that and get a lot done in a short period of time.
Yeah. So, can you share a time when ADHD helped you succeed in a way you didn't expect?
So I'm currently doing a master's part-time whilst working here at Pembroke part-time. And I think that for all its troubles, ADHD has been helping me to juggle both of those things, because it means that I have a lot of different ways to split my attention to get that kind of dopamine boost from doing lots of different things. And it means that I can turn things that I was doing as a hobby anyway, like I started creating a language for fun when I was 18, and it's kind of been percolating in the background. And then as part of my master's, one of my assignments was to create a language and describe its linguistic features. And so I just spent hours and hours working on this and creating a presentation, writing an essay on all its grammatical features. And I don't think I would have ever been interested in such like niche things if I didn't have ADHD.
Right, to hear that. So, and can you tell us how Pembroke has supported you at work with ADHD?
I think Pembroke has been really supportive. They've been very understanding with accommodations that I need, like being able to have headphones and music at my desk so that I can block out all of the kind of the world around me if I really need to focus. Letting me work a day a week at home when it's really crunch time and I can't deal with the phone ringing and people coming in to just have chats and things, where it pulls me out of that kind of focus. All in all, I think it's been a really supportive place to work.
And what do you wish more people understood about ADHD?
I wish more people understood that ADHD isn't an excuse for laziness. It's not carelessness, or that I'm not paying enough attention because I don't care. It's things that, yes, everybody struggles with from time to time, but all the time. It's not a thing I can just turn on and off. It doesn't go away just because I seem to be doing well. The first GP that ever saw me about ADHD said, well, you got into Cambridge, so it can't be that bad. And I think that's really detrimental to people who do have or think they might have ADHD, because so much of the public conception of ADHD is kind of based on the rowdy boy at school that, won't sit down and is causing disruption. And actually, it manifests in so many different ways. It manifests differently in women to men. And we're all just actually trying our best.
Yeah. Thank you. Last question for you. What advice would you give to someone who suspects that they may have ADHD?
I think talk to people around you, talk to people who knew you as a kid, and talk to your GP, because it takes a long time to get a diagnosis. The NHS is overwhelmed and they can be a slog. And the process of getting a diagnosis has a lot of admin involved. So the earlier you start, the easier it's going to be, especially if admin is one of those things that you struggle with.
Well, thank you for answering my questions today. It's been really helpful. And we're now just going to finish with some quick fire random questions. You ready?
Yeah, it's good.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Sunrise or sunset?
On the sunrise.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Word or accent?
Except.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs, 100%.
Pembroke main site or Pembroke mill main site?
Main site.
Music or podcast?
Music.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Curtly Ambrose or Courtney Walsh?
Curtly Ambrose.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.